I don't think there's a single answer, but the one that I think is the most important factor is it's the politics. You know, to misquote Bill Clinton, it's the politics, stupid. And then that Africa's politics have fallen into the hands of elites, as the Nigerians would call them. These are a class of people who are pure business politicians, and business and politics go together in Africa. You cannot stand as a poor man. I came across a wonderful example the other day from Kenya, where a man who cycled around on a bicycle was trying to get himself elected, and the people just laughed at him, and they say, "You've only got a bicycle. What can you do for us? We need a big man with a big car with money. That's the politician we need to." So there's this mentality, which I think has allowed a very small group of people to take over those countries politically, but also economically. And that's why you have something like, I think the World Bank says, between 60 and 70% of Africa's capital shifted out of the continent. It's in banks in Europe and Asia and maybe America as well. But these people just do what the colonialists did, which was suck the wealth out and shift it overseas. And until that changes, that is, until there's a new generation or even a revolution that actually takes power back to African people, I think those problems, that lack of development, will continue.
Africa is as big as Europe, the US, India, China, and Argentina combined. So now you can imagine the diversity that this huge territory must contain. In 2010, The Economist referred to Africa as the continent without hope. But as can often happen, things rapidly changed in Africa. Since the start of the 21st century, Africa has experienced a significant boost, especially in the poorest countries on the continent. With the exception of South Africa, the countries of sub-Saharan Africa achieved annual growth rates of 6.2%. By comparison, that is twice the growth rate of countries in Latin America during the same time period. In 2015, 5 of the 10 economies that grew the most in the world were in Africa. These are the Ivory Coast, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The growth rate of these countries exceeded 7%.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has been ranked among the top 10 countries for reforms in the world. For example, in 2014, there are already nearly 7,000 enterprises that have been created.
Although the growth figures were a bit smaller, the situation remained similar in the year 2016. All of this growth has led to some really significant social consequences, so let's have a look at some of these. For one, life expectancy has increased significantly over the last 8 years, and child mortality figures and those dying from starvation has been cut in half. To sum up, extreme poverty used to affect 58% of the population in 1999, and now it has decreased to just 35%. It is still true that more than 420 million people are still suffering from extreme poverty in Africa, which is tragic, but fortunately the future is looking brighter than ever. Another thing is also certain. Africa is going to have a major global role over the coming decades.
And its middle class, or consumer class, is the fastest growing in the world. The fact is, Africa is no longer emerging, it is here now.
Africa is being urbanized quickly, which allows for both the provision of public services and also economies of scale. In the near future, we are going to find many of the world's biggest cities are on this continent. And who knows, Lagos, Nairobi, or Accra might become the new Shanghai in just a few short decades.